Mirror, mirror, hanging on the wall. You don't have to tell me who's the biggest fool of all. Mirror, mirror, I wish you could lie to me and bring my baby back. Bring my baby back to me. Mirror, mirror, don't lie to me. Show me what I want to see. Mirror, mirror, don't lie to me. Lie to me. Lie to me. And scene. Hi, everyone.
Hi, I'm Emily.
And I'm Rebecca.
And welcome to Middle Park Podcast, a podcast where we talk about all the latest in pop culture, music, and fashion, all while reminiscing on our lifelong friendship.
We're back with another exciting episode of Middle Park. You're probably wondering why that M2M deep cut came about.
And it's like, don't wonder about it.
Just accept it. This is where your millennial dreams come true. So
exactly,
just expect the unexpected.
Some random bursts of memory, of song, of feeling, of culture to come through.
You know what's like a similar song to that one, but like different? It was a few years later, but it's the same energy. All the things she said, all the things she said, running through my head, running through my head, running through my head. By Tattoo.
It's like what T-A-T-U.
Yeah, and I remember it was really controversial because it was like the music video was the two schoolgirls kissing.
Oh my god!
In the rain. You probably didn't see it because your mom.
No, I do. I remember that one. I do remember that one.
Yeah, that one was edgier. Sure.
Yes, I mean Mirror was pretty edgy, and Mirror was earlier.
Yeah, but I feel like Mirror was like Disney Channel core. I feel like
it was way. Yeah, well, I remember the album was purple.
Yeah.
Or the CD was purple. It was a purple color. And just to actually, do you remember that? And they had hair like down to their butt. They were sisters, I think.
Oh my god, I'm like remembering this totally differently. I thought they both had like pixie cuts.
No.
But am I confusing them with Dream maybe? I feel like there was like a few girls in Dream that had pixie hair.
We'll have to double check.
Yeah, we'll have to get back to you guys on that.
But the reason that this song actually is in my head is because so my son really loves the song by 98 Degrees. You're my sunshine after the rain.
Yeah, I didn't remember that song.
I don't know. It's one of those songs that like has been in my head since 1999. Like just in the like low murmurs in the background. Mm-hmm. And now with a child, people sing what is it? You're my sun. Wait, what is it?
You are my
sunshine, my only sunshine. For some reason, the 98 Degrees song comes to me more easily than that one. Yeah. It's just when I hear that sunshine vibe, I hear it's like Nick Lachey immediately.
Yeah.
Nick and Drew. So anyway, I played on Spotify a lot, and Spotify just goes nuts. They're like, all right, let's like, the algorithm. They're like, okay, you like 98 Degrees. Here's M2M.
Like if you like this.
Here's Christina. Just like the craziest. There's like a Stevie Wonder 98 Degrees.
Oh,
mix up. Yeah. True to your heart. You must say true to your heart. This is a sing-along episode.
Yeah. This is like a deep cut from my college days. We did this thing called Greek Sing, mm-hmm. where it's like every sorority and frat were paired together and they had to do like a musical performance. Mm-hmm. And my freshman year, we had Mulan. And we had to sing True to Your Heart. So,
oh my god.
That's why I was doing the choreo from like Greek Sing freshman year.
Was that was that redone, or did Stevie Wonder and 98 Degrees put their brilliant heads together?
I think they put their heads together and were like, guys, we got to get to the studio.
That is, it's a remarkable song.
I need to know who's responsible for being like, we have 98 Degrees, we have Stevie Wonder. It's a no-brainer. We have to put them together.
It really doesn't make any sense.
And also, like, it's just like the fact that they've ever been in the same room together, like Drew Lachey.
I literally think about that. Also, I think because you know how everything's connected and like social listens to you, and like now we're gonna get weird like throwback videos of Nick Lachey, whatever. So anyway, on my Instagram, I get these videos now of Nick Lachey being kind of like abusive to Jessica.
Yeah, it's really hard to watch because I loved Newlyweds back in the day, like when I watched it live, and now I look back and I'm like, wait, he's an asshole.
And I'm just like, where do you come off speaking that way to Jessica Simpson? I'm like, oh, it's because he was literally recording with Stevie Wonder. Like, right. Someone put this in his head that he was...
Someone lied to him.
Someone...
and told him several times that he was something great.
Something great. And he just isn't.
So, well, what happened is when they started dating, he was way more famous than her. she was kind of like on the rise up, but she was like, I feel like she was always competing against Britney and Jessica.
Well,
Mandy
90 Degrees
Moore.
was also, they were competing
That's
against
true.
Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
But he had way more star power than her.
Is that true?
Yes. Well, when they first started dating.
Okay.
But then...
But he still was solid B list.
No,
like, he was not Nick Carter. He was not, obviously not Justin Timberlake. Even I would even say Lance Bass had more star power.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. But, you know, still more than her. But then once her career started really rolling, she, like, skyrocketed and surpassed him, and he could not handle it.
Right.
And then that's where the insecurities came in, and that's where we see on Newlyweds play out all the time.
Yeah.
And it's annoying because, like, she always got the, like, dumb edit. Like, they made her seem like she was, like, a moron. But, like, she really wasn't.
She really wasn't. She was just, like, a woman who...
She was, like, 21 or something. She was so young.
I mean, there's one episode, this clip that I saw recently, where it's this series, different shots of her trying to cook, and she's speaking to either she's speaking to the camera or there's like a narration, which is basically her saying, Nick wanted me to become more of a woman. But literally that's what she says. Again, this is like 2001, so this is just a different time. But Nick wanted me to become more of a woman before he married me. So part of that is my like learning how to cook. And she's just like, it's the most relatable thing. Not that part, but her attempting to cook. And she's like,
I still don't know how to cook.
I have no idea. Ariel's the cook in my house.
Same. Yeah. That's so us that our husbands would be the chefs of our household. Oh my God, that's so funny. I mean, this is also just reminding me that we're underratedly going to Nevada.
Oh my God.
We're going to see Backstreet Boys at the Sphere.
So I just might say, I have been bullied into this.
By me?
Sorry. I am very excited. However, it is...
I'm learning in real time that she's feeling bullied.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So Rebecca says to me, Emily, I think we have to go. The Backstreet Boys are playing at the Sphere for my birthday. And I'm like, that sounds like a great idea.
No, you were so excited. You're like, we have to.
Of course. But I'm like, oh my God, we have to do that. But no, now I feel bad.
Like, I'm literally crying. She's looking at me and I'm just like,
no, because don't you... So then, whatever, fast forward, Rebecca calls me like 2 p.m. on like a Thursday and is like, would you pay $500?
$450
for... Meanwhile, this is 1 week. 1 week after I did the same thing to her about Beyonce, she shuts me down.
But it was... That's true. But
literally, she's like, I don't want to spend this money. So she calls me and I'm like, ugh, $450 and the flights and everything. I'm like, I don't really know. And she's like, well, I'm going to get them and we can sell them. And I'm like, are you sure we can sell them? And she says, yeah, I'm just going to get them. Next thing I know, she's texting, our husbands were going. I'm like, I thought this was like a pondering situation. Like we have the tickets.
I know. Well, I'm just trying to build the excitement.
That's what I'm saying.
Zach is also like, we're not going to this.
Right.
I could say there's like a 40% chance that we actually
a little higher because we have the tickets. That's what I mean. I'm kind of being like a little bullied because you paid all this money for the tickets. Like, what am I going to say? Like, sorry.
No,
like,
but you didn't pay me for them yet. No, but you wouldn't eat anything. I'm going to sell them.
Okay, see this.
Like my mindset is like worst case scenario, I sell them. Best case scenario, we go.
Right.
So why wouldn't I just buy them?
I didn't even need to hash this out. I thought we were on the same page. It was like, but I'm manifesting, and I love it.
Yeah,
you're just like not accepting. This is how you're going to get me to go. Is you continuously saying that we're going, even though
you have your hesitation.
I don't. Right. I'm like,
but like I feel like this is what middle part is for. This is so middle part coded. Like
I know.
Backstreet Boys at the Sphere.
Well, what's also funny is apparently this is actually a really good segue.
Okay.
Because apparently full disclosure, did not watch SNL 50. I know Rebecca did, and we want to talk about it. But apparently the Backstreet Boys performed.
Yes, and everyone was like living for it. It got everyone out of their seats.
Okay, well, my husband, Ariel, which we talk about, he's really not, through me now, he's much more adept at pop culture, but he really, I don't think he had heard Backstreet Boys songs, but I don't know that he would have been able to know they were Backstreet Boys songs. Anyway, when Rebecca said we're going to see Backstreet Boys, he's like, wait, they just performed at SNL and they were terrible.
Wait, were they?
So apparently Brian...
He's had trouble with his voice for years. I'm like, don't choose him.
I said, no. I said, let me say, just because I don't want to spend that much money doesn't mean I'm not going to defend my men. I said that exact same thing to Ariel. I'm like, listen, I don't even have to know what you're talking about. I don't have to see it to know what you're talking about. Brian has had issues with his voice, and Nick has had to do a couple more parts than usual
so that's not a strain on his voice too, I'm sure.
Right. And I mean, AJ McLean sounds beautiful. Kevin, Howie, Nick Carter, Brian is having trouble.
He's the weakest link.
He's the weakest link, and it's upsetting because they all. I mean, he was one of the
stronger singers.
He was one of the strongest singers. So but it doesn't change the fact that he doesn't sound good.
Right.
Even though I agree, it's not his fault.
Right.
And I said this thing. I'm like, he has a disorder.
I'm like, sir. I'm like, don't you dare! Don't you dare! Bring it, weaponize. His vocal trouble.
He's having trouble.
And
my God.
He knows. He's been working on it.
He's spoken about it. He's been public about his issues.
Yeah, 100%. There was I think
a
documentary. I know. I think we watched it together.
Probably.
Listen, all this to say, I won't be heartbroken if we don't end up going. I would love to go. I really want to go. I think it'd be so much fun. And also, like, we could bring the boys, like, the babies, and, like, have a fun little couples weekend with the babies. Like, stay at a hotel, do the pool. Not like a party hotel, obviously. I don't know if they have nice family hotels in Vegas.
We can do it in a nice family way. I think there's, like, grossness everywhere, but you can...
And then you and I can go
to the concert.
Go to the concert.
I will say, like, Rebecca... You live a life of like trips like that with friends, and I think it's so nice. So for that reason alone, I would love to join you for that and do like a family
trip.
Just
like the content we'll get for Middle Park.
No, totally.
Like we could vlog the whole thing.
We'll likely be going. I thought it was going to be like a funny bit that I was like, I've been bullied into this, and then Rebecca got upset that I said that. But like, I was just setting the stage.
That hurts my soul to hear that anyone would feel bullied by me.
I know. Well, it was a strong word.
Yeah.
Sorry. Bra strap.
She's throwing the B word around.
Like bra or bully?
Bra, bully, and Brian.
It's true.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll keep you guys abreast of the situation if we're actually going to go. I haven't even looked into flights.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to be literally dirt cheap because it's going to be 400 degrees.
Yeah, Fahrenheit. Going to Vegas in July.
Right. So I mean, I'm going to be like literally covered in like a towel.
I know, like,
and like
Emily's like a porcelain doll.
Literally cannot take me in the sun.
And I'm like, turn it up.
Right.
I like live in the sun. I worship the sun. But we'll figure it out. It is funny that it's Vegas. We're like the least Vegas people ever. Like,
oh my God.
We don't drink.
Don't drink. Absolutely don't gamble. I also don't like feeling like trapped.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get
like there's nowhere to go.
I get a little claustrophobic and just Vegas, it's just not
smoking.
Yeah. It just feels like
it just
doesn't feel clean to me. Sorry for anyone who's from Las Vegas listening to this.
I'm sorry to all our Las Vegas listeners. You can write a comment and tell us why we're wrong about Vegas.
Give us the Recs.
Yeah. If you're just like want like clean, wholesome family fun in Vegas, please leave us some recommendations.
Yes, truly.
Okay, wait. So we were talking about SNL 50. Let's go back to that.
Yes.
For a moment. I'd love to understand like what's your relationship to SNL? Like, do you have any like ties or like emotional attachments to SNL? I feel like there's some people out there that like just feel really strongly about SNL.
I think it's this is so controversial, and
no, please.
I think it's unfortunately, I think it's an institution.
It is. Unfortunately.
No.
Yeah.
I interrupted myself. Not unfortunately. I think it is an institution. Unfortunately, I think it's a bit outdated.
Yeah.
I think it's an antiquated format in the sense that now that we have social, TikTok and Instagram, that is kind of where we get our fix of like sketch comedy, right? Like we all have our favorite content creators who take things that are going on in pop culture, whether it's like Moo Dang or like the, Chapel Rowan's like weird speech. And people make fun of it on the spot and they commentate about it on the spot. So by the time that Saturday comes around, you're kind of late to the game in commentating on these like moments. And they're also sometimes not really as funny. Because now we're crowdsourcing comedy from like every single person. So like you get a lot of crap on social, but you also get a lot of like gold, like reels. I mean, I think reels are so funny because I'm kind of not as much on TikTok anymore because I'm that age. But I mean, they're just like the funniest. I like laugh out loud at our videos. We've all been, or I'm going around. I like laugh out loud at some of the content I see on social, and SNL just like doesn't really do it for me. I also think a lot of those comedians are self-important. So I also think there's a lot of orchestrated laughter to make it funnier than it is. Like they'll like break almost intentionally to be like, we're so funny, but it's actually on like it's really not that funny. Like, you should be able to do this with a serious face. You should be able to stay in character.
Right.
Those are all my feelings about SNL.
No, I appreciate all of that. I agree. I think that like when The Lonely Island came on to SNL, like Andy Samberg, like they were definitely really instrumental in bringing SNL into the new age because they were doing all those digital shorts and they were like taking advantage of like YouTube virality. And like,
I was literally going to say, when you said, to have any, sorry to interrupt, but like a connection, I was literally going to say Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes.
And Dick in a Box.
Yeah.
Like, obviously.
And I feel like, so there's like this saying that the cast of SNL when you're in high school, that's like the cast that like sticks with you forever. Like that's always like your favorite SNL cast. And that was for us, like Andy Samberg, like
that's so funny.
Yeah. Like we had Bill Hader.
Right.
That's when John Mulaney was head writer.
Right.
Like we really did grow up during like a golden time of SNL. And I think it really ebbs and flows.
Well, they're just not using social properly.
Yeah. They brought in like 3 new young guys. I forget their names.
The ones that like
the guy with the red hair, the guy with like the
the ones glasses. That like Taylor Swift, the virgin
one. Yeah, they're like the new Lonely Island, and I think they're like supposed to be like they're like the Gen Z Lonely Island.
I mean, I obviously don't think they're funny, but I would be curious to know if they resonate with Gen Z. And something tells me that Gen Z isn't paying attention, because that's the other thing about why SNL I don't think resonates anymore. First is what I shared about you can get instantaneous commentating and comedy on cultural moments that you can't get with a live TV format, even though it is weekly, which used to be immediacy every week. It's just not anymore. That's the first thing. The second thing is there used to be big cultural moments that everyone sort of experienced together. They were shared. Whereas now there's all these kind of like niche corners of the internet. Everyone's in their own world. There aren't always things that every single person knows about, so it's hard to have that like camaraderie around a moment.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just thinking, this is what we say in the advertising biz. Audiences are more fragmented than ever.
Exactly. It's true. So it's hard to have this show that's live, that's supposed to bring together a national audience, when people kind of live on different planets now because they have their own little,
they have their own algorithms. They have their own FYPs.
Right.
So it's hard to like be funny for everyone.
Right. Whereas like Andy Samberg, that was like for everyone. Like everyone in high school, or we just knew.
We didn't have social media in that way.
Right. Whereas now, I don't know. So I would be curious. We should do a little test. We should ask Emily Feller, even though she is a little after that. She's in college.
But it's hard because like Zach's family loves SNL.
Okay.
So she grew up watching SNL. So she isn't like a good example. She might be like a fringe Gen Z that does appreciate SNL, but only because she has millennial older siblings that showed her SNL.
That's true. We would need to have like oldest sibling, like the firstborn of Gen Z family.
Her friend, she definitely has friends who are that. So we'll ask them.
Because in that case, it would have to be the parents that would have a big enough influence on the child.
Yes.
Not just the older siblings.
Yeah, for sure. SNL was huge in my house growing up. Like I actually distinctly remember watching the cowbell sketch live, and like my family, like my older brother and my parents like died. I don't know the cowbell sketch. You don't know like Will Ferrell like with the cowbell? No. They're like recording the song and he's like going crazy banging the cowbell, and Christopher Walken is like the guest host that week, and he's in the sketch and he comes in and he's like, I need more cowbell. He's like, I got a fever and the only cure, more cowbell. How's my Christopher Walken, everyone?
That was good. I remember a couple of them. I remember Kristen Wiig doing, I think it was We Are the World. I don't know. She was.
What about Gilly? Do you know Gilly?
No.
When she's like, sorry.
I know that exact face. But what about the one where she's like singing like this?
And Don't Make Me Sing?
Is that what? Oh, maybe. Oh my God, you know so many.
Yeah. See, I loved SNL. That era, like the Kristen Wiig era, that's like my favorite. Totally. She's like my favorite SNL cast member.
Yeah, I mean, she's hysterical.
Yeah, she's so funny. And she looks amazing, by the way. So that was what was really fun about SNL 50 was like all these past cast members, but literally just like everyone in Hollywood, because SNL is such a respected institution and it's built so many stars that like they really had everyone come out. Like Sabrina Carpenter was all over the place. Like they really, even though like it's antiquated, like you said, they still have such relevancy. Totally. Like the fact that Sabrina Carpenter would like open the show with Paul Simon, and then she was like in and out all these throughout the show in different sketches. Kim Kardashian showed up for a sketch. Like,
right.
it's still like people want to be a part of it.
Totally.
I feel like it's like one of those things that like if you're a celebrity or an actor, or musician, like just to say you've been on SNL is such an honor.
It's like
it's more for like them than us.
Totally. It's kind of like Harvard.
Yes.
It carries a lot of weight. The name, it's a big brand. So I totally respect it in all of those ways. And it's very nostalgic.
Yeah.
It
was fun. Like I definitely had a good time watching the show. I liked all the like old sketches that they brought back for the nostalgia factor. Like you said, I think just something I want to touch on that everyone was talking about was that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my God. I obviously saw this one.
All the like It Ends With Us drama and their legal battle. And so there was like a part in the show where Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were doing like a Q&A with the audience, and they like called on Ryan Reynolds. They did like a little bit. And they're like, "Hey Ryan, like how have you been?" And Ryan goes, "Good. Why? What have you heard?"
Right.
Like, like just hinting at like, yeah, we all know what's going on. It got a big laugh, but now there's like all the publications reporting on it, just being like, if your wife really was sexually assaulted, like, would you make light of it in this way? Or sexually harassed, I should say.
Which I think is a good point. Like, there has been, I didn't have that take initially.
Neither did I.
However, it makes sense. If she really was harassed, that's not really something you make light of. And I think that the fact that they are so quick to be like, "Oh, we know it's like a huge thing, like we're fine," makes me feel like I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going on with them.
It would be one thing if they showed up, like, fine, you don't need to stay hidden forever. Like, you have to do public appearances. This is your job. But I don't think they needed to, like, be a part of, like, the sketches. Like, just lay low. Like, just don't say anything for a little bit.
I don't know. I think it's crazy how public opinion is now being swayed toward Justin Baldoni.
I know.
It's really
crazy. It always was. And then when she dropped the lawsuit, then it went back to her.
180 very quickly.
But now it's swung back again. Yeah. I'm like personally just really tired of it. I'm like,
oh, totally.
I'm so fatigued.
But I want it to be resolved.
Yes, but it's going to be a long time. Like, I don't think this is actually going to get to trial till like a year from now. And then they'll probably end up settling before it ever gets to trial.
I think what was really interesting about what Justin Baldoni did with the website publishing all like the lawsuit as well as like all the texts and everything is that there isn't much else that can come as a surprise because he put everything out there already. Mm-hmm. So there's no new information. It's not like in 2 months, we're going to get like, "Oh my God, did you see that like this text just came out?"
Right.
Everything is out there. So I think that will actually help quiet things because it was a major like splash. And now it's like, we all know if you want to see it, you can just go to his website. So I don't know how much more there is to talk about it. Like there's nothing that's going to like circulate.
Yeah, I think just like any like appearances they do, like will just be like looked at under a microscope. But
it is really interesting. I heard like there's like fodder that like Taylor's upset that Blake got her involved and it
called her a dragon, one of her dragons. Remember how she said, "I'm like Khaleesi and like I like have my dragons."
She said Taylor
Taylor and Ryan are her dragons.
That is
so weird. So I think, and then Blake didn't go with Taylor to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
she went with her last year. I mean, I think it was probably a mutual understanding. Now it's not a good time for me to go to the Super Bowl.
Totally.
But also, I would imagine this isn't going to be a deal break. Like they're not going to stop being friends over this. But I imagine Taylor is like annoyed.
I'm sure there's a little bit of like a ick.
Yeah.
Like this is a lot. This is the last thing I need from Taylor's perspective is to be embroiled in this shit. Like figure your stuff out. You want to be a writer, director, producer. Go be a writer, director, producer.
I'm done helping you.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, this is the thanks I get for like trying to throw my weight around.
One last thing I wanted to say about that is, I don't know if people remembered or connected that in the I'll Bet You Think About Me music video, Blake Lively directed that.
She did. I think I knew that, but I forgot.
I didn't forget because Taylor made that a huge part of like the whole release of it. She's like, Blake is incredible. You know how she does, like in these like
building up
candid interviews, like, oh my God, and Blake did it. It was amazing. So it makes sense that like Taylor has played a part. You know, Blake's her bestie. She wants to give Blake an opportunity, but I could so see Taylor at this point being like, you really botched this.
Yeah, totally. And just being like, I've given you enough opportunity. I've given you enough of a platform. Like, I'm done now.
Maybe Taylor should be with friends of people who are actually talented.
That would be a great start.
Blake is, I actually heard this, I can't take credit, but I heard this on the Betches podcast, which I just agreed with so wholeheartedly. The fact that Blake feels like she's been sidelined. If someone like you feels like you've been sidelined with the kind of money, wealth, power, like influence, the way you look, maybe you really just don't have that much substance. Because if you have all of those resources at your fingertips and it's still not working,
that's hysterical.
Maybe you're just not meant to be a director.
That is hysterical and such a good point. It's so valid.
Like, but there's no way you've been sidelined because of anything other than like your content of the right.
Yeah. Oh my God. That is wow. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll continue to follow along begrudgingly, and we'll have more updates to share, I'm sure.
Yes.
So what else? We had a lot of TV that we watched. I feel like
oh my God.
Like we should transition into our recap section of the pod.
Yes. Let's start with Summer House.
Let's start with Summer House.
Because that's kind of the first in the lineup. It's Summer House, and then it's Traitors, and then it is White Lotus in the order of the days of the week.
Yeah. That's a good way to organize it.
Yes.
Okay, so let's jump right into Summer House.
Yes.
So where did we leave off? Oh, we
left
off
Carl's abused.
Right. This is like a Carl Stan podcast. I'm gonna manifest that we're gonna have Carl on this podcast.
I would love that.
I really think that we could have a great interview with Carl about like vulnerability, sobriety, totally. Like just like transforming in your adult life.
Yes.
And doing that on television.
Yes.
We really love Carl.
He's a really strong person. And again, one of the things I love about Carl is we recognize the nuance. Like, he was not innocent. He has his flaws, but he always speaks to that.
Yes.
And that's what we like.
He takes accountability.
He said, I did things, she did things. Or he's like, I did nothing. I'm over here and I don't care at all.
I have no feelings about this whatsoever.
Like, and I believe that.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I really do think
that she's completely moved on from this man that she was so head over heels in love with and was going to marry and have children with. Like, that's a really harsh thing to do, just to like cut someone off like that. So the episode starts out with like Carl and Lindsay seeing each other for the first time since the reunion. And they do not acknowledge each other. And Carl is like very visibly like uncomfortable and like nervous. Yeah. But like, who wouldn't be in that situation? And like, she's very pregnant too. Like, that is so crazy to like see. A year ago they were engaged and now she's very visibly pregnant with another man's baby.
I think it's fair and fine. She didn't text him to let him know. She doesn't have to do that. I just think the way she moves in the world is not my cup of tea. But anyway, so also he was afraid because there were so many people around.
Yes.
He ends up later, he kind of talks to the boys. He's like, all right, I want to have a good summer. I want her to have a good summer. I'm going to break the ice. And he does. And there's a moment later where they're able to have like an intimate moment where he just says like, just want to let you know, I'm happy for you. I'm sorry I didn't get the opportunity to congratulate you earlier. Just like
normal.
Nice. And she's like, I appreciate that.
Yeah. She's like, yeah. Okay, well, thank you for that.
Right.
I just think that like that was like very mature of him.
Yeah.
And like the adult thing to do.
Right.
And the appropriate thing to do. And I feel like her just trying to be all like nonchalant, like, well, I appreciate that. I feel like it was like her trying to be like, I'm strong.
Right.
And, like, this is how I'm going to treat this man that like left me. And it's like, girl, that's like not what's happening here.
Right. They're on different pages. It's the end of the road. There's no drama. Like, there's nothing happening. Like, I think later in the season they get into it because there's like a clip of Carl being like, I pray for you, Lindsay. Oh, yes.
Lindsay being like, I don't need you to pray for me. I'm excited for whatever that is.
Yes.
Whatever conversation that is. Some other interesting couple dynamics in the house, Jesse and Lexi.
We talked about this.
Yeah, so they finally kissed. I actually thought their moment
was
on the bed when they were opening up to each other, like Lexi opened up to Jesse about why she wears a J around her neck and for her friend who passed away, and like Jesse opens up to her about his cancer. These two are having more vulnerability and authenticity in a conversation than Wes and Sierra ever have over the course of knowing each other for a whole summer. Like, they've known each other for 24 hours, and I'm like, this is beautiful.
That's because Jesse's amazing. He can be vulnerable. He's charming.
Yeah, he's fun-loving.
Yeah, the more I see them together, the more I like it. I don't think it's going to be like a stable thing. I also keep in mind, I thought it was really, I think he's just so cute how he like FaceTimed her on his way back. He's like, what are you doing? Like, I miss you. Or on the way back. Like, he's just adorable.
He's cute.
He was a little drunk during that convo, which is totally fine. Like, I'm not like, oh, he didn't mean it. He was drunk. But like,
it does allow you to be more vulnerable.
It's like a summer excitement right now. Like, I don't know how much more than that it is, but like, he's extremely excited and she's extremely excited, and we'll have to just see where it goes. But I like it. I like it so far.
Yeah, and I think next week we were already getting her being like, I just want to make sure, like, if we're getting to know each other, like,
right.
I don't think she's saying I want to be exclusive, but I think she wants to like lay down the law. Like, I don't want you being like a whore.
Yeah, which I think is appropriate.
Yeah, and then it cuts to him being like, well, that's a tough pill to swallow. But that could just be the edit.
Anything, yeah.
We don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, I think it's fun. They're really cute together. I think like, I look forward to seeing how it all unravels with Sierra too.
I don't even want to talk about Sierra because I just don't want to be mean on the pod. But I don't think anything she says makes sense.
What did you think about her table? Like,
I thought it was unhinged. I mean, it's just like she's fighting a battle with no one.
It's like talking to a wall because he gives her nothing. He comes so unprepared to have a conversation every time.
He doesn't care. He also,
he completely shuts down with confrontation. Clearly,
she also doesn't really I don't think she makes sense when we talked about this at length. I don't think anything really additional happened. I think in terms of like, he was like, I don't know how else to break up with someone.
Mm-hmm.
She thought it was something it wasn't, and
I think she was mostly heard about this like article that he like.
I didn't read
it either, but I guess he talked about the breakup to the New York Times or some publication. And I think he said like, I never really liked her like in that way.
Or no, he said it was way more PC than he said we realized we weren't like right for each other. That was the quote. I think she was just hurt.
And every nice break in the confessional, she was like, that really hurt me. And she starts crying. And then I'm like, oh, Sierra. Then I felt bad for her because I'm like, okay, now you're being real.
No, of course I feel bad for her. It doesn't mean that what she's saying is right. She's obviously hurt. Like, obviously, she really liked him. She wanted this to be something. He's not that into it. Just because she's hurt, it doesn't mean that he did anything very wrong.
Right.
He just like isn't really that into it.
Yeah, I just thought the whole confrontation at the table, like, I really thought, like, she felt like she was, like, this, like, owning him.
Like, strong woman.
Yeah,
right.
She's like, your hair looks bad. Like, it was immature. It was petty. And I felt embarrassed for her. And then I had second-hand embarrassment for him when he, like, later came to her room and they had, like, that one-on-one conversation. And he was just like, speak.
I mean, he's just so immature.
He's so immature. I mean, he's so much fun. I think he's like a great addition to Summer House. Like that he's like likes to party. Totally. He's cool. He's funny. But clearly when it comes down to like being vulnerable or having intimacy with someone, he's just not mature enough.
And honestly, there's Sierra in a totally different way.
Agreed. Because she can't like clearly communicate what she wants. I'm always on Paige and Craig watch because we're going to see the unraveling of their relationship. She did say, I feel bad for Craig because I'm definitely not the girl that he started dating 2 years ago. And like, I've changed a lot. And I just, again, it's just Paige clearly communicating from the beginning, like who she is or like where she's at in her journey. I know there's not that much to say. I just thought it was interesting.
No, it is interesting. There was something else I noticed where she was talking about Craig coming to visit her family. And she's like, my brother and I just like made fun of Craig the whole time.
Oh, I love that.
Which I thought was really cute. Like, I get that. But something about it, I'm just like
she clearly doesn't take him seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's one thing for you to make fun of your partner, and it's one thing for you and your sibling to make fun of your partner. And I think that's like, okay. It's another thing to say it on a television show. Like, I don't know. It's embarrassing.
It showed like definitely the dynamic of their relationship.
Right.
She's always had the upper hand.
Right. Which is fine. It's just, again, like if you are really close to your brother and you make fun of your boyfriend or husband, like that's like funny. But just the way she said it, I'm like, do you really respect him? Like the way she just was like so funny. I don't know.
Yeah, no, there was like a mean undertone.
Yes.
For sure. Like obviously she was being funny and joking, but there was like a mean undertone.
Definitely. For sure. But I don't want to be like, this isn't like a trad wife pod. I don't want to be like, you shouldn't disrespect your husband. Like I totally get the making fun of.
This is the complete opposite of trad wife.
It is. I mean, we do love our husbands, but.
We love them so much. We literally wouldn't even have a podcast today without Zach. So
yeah. No. Right. But, I don't know. Yeah, to your point, it just something felt a little off. I'm all for making fun of your husband, but like it was just something about it. I'm like, I guess also knowing the context of them breaking up later and her not wanting to be with him.
I guess we can circle back to the Traitors.
Yes.
Just because we were talking about Ciara.
I'll just start. Danielle is maybe my least favorite character on reality television ever.
She really pisses me off.
She's not a good villain. She's not a good player. She's not, she's annoying. When Carolyn, spoiler alert, got voted off I just want to jump to this. She was crying and she jumped off of her chair. She's like, oh my God.
She's like, I told you. Like, I don't even know what she said. But she was just like, I knew it.
She was literally possessed.
And a lot of them have been saying from the beginning, like, why she was shaking and crying. It's like, it's a little much. I don't know how, like, she skated by this long without people being suspicious of her.
Well, now people are.
Yeah, right. Now it's, like, unavoidable. But it's frustrating because Carolyn was a really good player. She screwed up. She screwed up in that challenge. But if her and Danielle were playing together, Danielle would have been like, you shouldn't do that because it's going to look obvious. Like, they could have, like, worked together. But Danielle was letting her dig her own grave.
Right, which is fair because Carolyn kind of was very vocal about the fact that, like, we don't trust each other. I don't trust you.
Which is Danielle's fault because Danielle tried to...
Yes, it was Danielle's fault, but that was a little out in the open. It's not like... I don't think at that point Danielle deceived Carolyn in letting her do that. It's not like she was, like, playing nice and she was, like, secretly letting her dig her own grave. I just don't think she was outwardly protecting Carolyn, and, like, why would she at that point?
Right.
They decided they don't work well together. So I think Carolyn... That was on Carolyn. I do. Like...
Yes.
They don't...
Exactly. But it's just frustrating because, and like, if Danielle was a better player, she would have realized, like, I need Carolyn as an ally because she wanted to get Boston Rob out. Remember in the beginning, like, she was like, we got to.
Oh my God, we got to take.
If she should have, if she really wanted to take out Boston Rob, she should have, like, partnered with Carolyn instead of, like, trying to get rid of her randomly. Like, I don't even understand, like, her reasoning for wanting to get rid of her.
I just don't think she likes her that much. I think she didn't feel like they vibed. And I think she just wanted to be with a traitor who she, like, could really, like, understand. And I think Carolyn is very much marches up to the beat of her own drum and just, like, didn't feel like they were in sync. And I don't think she really tried.
Yeah. I think it's going to be really interesting now that she's recruiting Brittany to be a traitor with her.
Oh my God.
And also, like,
I hope Brittany's like,
why would
that would be really stupid if she does that. Yeah. And I also think Brittany is horrible.
She's been wrong about everyone.
She's been wrong about everyone. I also want to talk about Gabby, who has been right about everyone. This is a Gabby Stan. Is it Gabby Windy?
Gabby Windy. Okay, so this
Gabby Stan podcast.
Last week, remember we were talking about the Traitors, and I, like, completely, like, lost my train of thought, and I was like, whatever, I can't remember what I was talking about. It was Gabby. I wanted to talk about how much I love Gabby. No, because it was a long episode. We were talking about a lot of stuff, but, like, oh my God, Gabby Windy is America's sweetheart.
She's the best thing that's ever happened to us.
If you don't follow her on TikTok, you must. She is so funny, you guys.
There was an article about her in Interview Mag, interviewing her and her girlfriend, Robbie Hoffman, who's a comedian. I am obsessed with them. They are so in love with each other. Robbie Hoffman gives very much Larry David. Like, that's her self-deprecating, like, weird sense of humor. It's very wry, very dark.
Yeah.
And Gabby is just, like, this, like, hot bombshell that, like, just so smart and funny and also just witty. Like, they're amazing. I want to go out with them in LA.
She's so funny. Just, like, the way that she, like, off the cuff can say such funny, but random, like, monologues.
Totally.
Like, there's this one TikTok of her. I'm obsessed with the audio of her being like, no, I don't think men should be front facing.
Right.
I think you should be in the back.
You're right. No,
I don't think you should be working the front counter.
She is.
What are you trying to do? Like, trade niceties. Like, just like
she also kind of sounds like Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, everyone said she's like a young Jennifer Coolidge. I mean, they should definitely like be in a commercial together at the very least.
Totally. I want a reality show of Robbie and Gabby.
Yes.
Robbie would never.
Peacock,
I feel like,
make it happen.
Knowing her, and again, the Larry David vibe, she would be like, absolutely not. Like, I saw this interview with Robbie Hoffman where she was just like, I don't like that gays are like front and center. And she's like, everyone like, it's like gay rights, like we deserve. She's like, no, we're not. She's like, she's like, we are weird and there's a reason we're like niche and that's where we should stay. She's like, I don't want to be
in the main culture.
Right. Yeah. She's like, I don't want this. I never asked for this. She's like, I'm a lesbian for a reason. It was so funny.
That's great. Oh my God, that's so funny. I think another part of this episode that was so sweet was like how truly torn up Dylan was to
who is this gorgeous, brilliant,
beautiful,
sensitive
soul?
I don't want another pretty face. I don't want just anyone to hold. I don't want my love to go to waste. I want you and your beautiful soul. I love doing the fake. I know. I wasn't sure if we were going into you're the one I want to chase. You're the one I want to hold. Won't let another minute go to waste. I want you and your soul. Oh, I don't want a pretty face. I don't want just anyone to hold. Oh, yeah. I love
go on.
I know. I really, once you got me started.
Oh my God. It's such a good song. That's one of my go-to karaoke songs.
Love that.
Yeah. Good idea, guys, if you're ever at karaoke. It's a great one. I want to set Dylan up. Like, that's how I feel like I know him because he's so nice. Yeah, genuinely.
And I just feel like he needs like a nice Jewish girl.
Yes, but he's very earthy. Like I saw somewhere.
I'm into that.
People were talking about Sierra. Like Sierra was doing an interview, and they're like, so many people been like, you're single and Dylan's single. Like you should date. She's like, that man is way too earthy for me. She's like, I like to hike. Like, don't get me wrong. I like being outside, but like this, like he like bungee jumps and like deep sea dives and like he eats like insects. Like
he gives like kind of like Australia, like Sydney. Like I feel like he could just like live on the beach.
That might be where his show takes place.
What is that?
It's like a documentary, like nature show that he did with Zac Efron, his brother.
So cute.
I know, it's really cute. I definitely could see why he needs a very specific type of woman.
Totally.
Yeah. Like a really earthy bohemian.
He should go to like Tel Aviv or Sydney.
Yes, for sure. But yeah, damn, he's hot. You know when they do those like B-rolls of people?
Yeah.
He's always like working out so intensely and they like show his abs. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Edited the Traitors, like you know what this audience wants.
And again, like his personality is truly like, yes, he's gorgeous, but I don't think I would be like, it's his personality that just makes him like really shine.
Yeah,
truly.
There's something about his eyes. Like he has this like sparkle in his eyes. Like
he's a golden retriever boyfriend.
Yes, 100%. And he was genuinely so torn up about having to vote off Carolyn. Like because he played with his heart and he loves Carolyn, but he's like, I think you're a traitor. And like, I mean, for him.
The good thing, what Ariel had said, because I felt so bad for Dylan, is Ariel's like, don't be upset because no matter who Dylan votes off, he'll be right.
Right.
Oh, and that's another thing about Gabby is she was right about that. Even though Carolyn and Danielle were both traitors, one was like genuine and authentic and we wanted to see succeed, Carolyn, and Danielle was just like fake. And Gabby voted for Danielle because she was like, I just couldn't vote for Carolyn because when I saw you cry, I just knew it was real and I couldn't handle the tears. And I just was like, Gabby, once again.
What an incredible, it would have been really great if Danielle got voted off and then Carolyn recruited Gabby and they were traitors together.
Oh, I want Gabby to be a traitor
so badly.
I want them to every season so far, there has not been one duplicate, if that makes sense. Returning. Every season there hasn't been one one duplicate. Every season they haven't really had anyone return, but this season in particular, I've gotten really attached. Boston Rob. I know this is very controversial. I would like to see Wes go a little further.
He was good at the game. He was just an asshole and rubbed people the wrong way.
I know. I'm nostalgic.
He didn't play the social game right.
No, he did not. And I love him from the challenge just because I grew up with him. So I would have liked to see him go a little further. I want Gabby back. I want Dylan back. Like, I would love for them to take from the same pool. Tom Sandoval, redemption arc like I've never seen.
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Right.
Like, oh my God. But something that's pissing me off is that him and Dolores keep voting for each other.
My God.
I'm like, you guys just play the game.
Right.
Like, they have like this weird beef and they keep voting for each other, but like they're both clearly faithfuls.
I think Tom genuinely believes Dolores is a traitor.
Yes.
Because he's consistent. And he like, I think it makes more sense for Tom to maybe think Dolores is a traitor, because why wouldn't she be a traitor? She's kind of beneath the radar. She's not dead yet.
Yeah.
Why not? Dolores is ridiculous. Why are you voting for Tom?
Right.
You know Tom is a traitor.
And you're wasting a vote. It's like, get serious, get your head in the game, ignore Tom. And everyone knows you're faithful.
Right. And
like,
it isn't frustrating, because if Tom had actually done what he wanted, which is vote for Danielle.
Oh, did he want to vote?
I thought he talked about that he thought Danielle and Carolyn, I don't know, he and Gabby
he thought Danielle and Brittany were traitors.
Sorry, yes, yeah. Danielle and Brittany. So if he had gone, and that vote was clearly Danielle versus Carolyn. Yeah. So that could have changed the vote, I think, if he went for...
Yeah, and if Dolores got serious and, like, maybe she would have picked Danielle, too. Right. So that was frustrating. Like, they're just not taking it seriously.
They're not gamers.
No, not at all.
Which is one of my favorite parts of the show. It's like, we're gamers. We're not gamers.
Right. The lifestyle people versus, like, the gamers.
It's so good.
Okay, and lastly, should we talk about White Lotus? So I think that's a good recap of Traitors. Let's talk about White Lotus.
I am really, really excited for this season.
Me too. I really like the first episode. I've actually been seeing online a lot of people aren't into it, or like,
why?
I don't know. I mean, I think it was a lot of setup, but I think what's so incredible about Mike White, the creator of White Lotus, like, he does such a great job of like drawing out all these characters, like so many different characters, like so effectively and efficiently. Like, I feel like I have such a good read or sense of like who all these different people are just from one episode.
I'm also okay. We have to talk about a lot of people.
Should we start with the friend group, the three ladies?
Yes.
So yeah, this is fun because it's actually like three pretty well-known actresses.
Yes.
Leslie Bibb, Carrie Coon, and Michelle Monaghan.
Yeah.
And
Carrie Coon, huge fan, because one of my favorite shows on HBO of all time was The Leftovers.
Good, you loved that show.
I love a dark show.
Yeah, I never got into it, or I think I watched the first episode and then I liked it but never continued. I feel like I should go back to it.
It was slow and depressing, and just if you're in the mood to be like sad.
Okay, I mean always.
We're Taylor Swift girlies.
Yeah, exactly. I'm an emo kid at heart.
Right. That's really quick side note. That's what I want. Really quick side note. That's one of the things that Taylor Swift haters don't understand about Taylor Swift. They think that her fan base are just like, I kissed a boy and
and now I'm sad.
Right. Or like, I'm whatever. Taylor Swift songs, the lyrics are daggers. Yeah. If you're a diehard Swiftie, you love being sad.
Yes, 100%.
People don't realize that. She's an emo kid, like for real.
Anyway, her music is devastating. It's like they just think it's Shake It Off.
Shake It Off, or like,
she has to pay the bills, but
right, exactly. Or Love Story,
right?
Which great. I mean, obviously always gonna be a Love Story fan, but like that's not
right.
We listen for
My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys.
Not even. I was gonna say
Love of My Life.
Love of My Life, but what's the one?
All Too Well.
Sam. Sophia Marcus.
Oh yeah, Chloe or Sam or Sophia.
I listen for Chloe or Sam or Sophia Marcus.
Or Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Oh, Peter. Just Peter.
I'm sorry, Peter. Said you were gonna grow up and you were gonna come find me. Said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me.
Literally.
Okay.
I mean that whole album.
The whole album.
Whew. Okay.
So there's definitely some interesting dynamics. So like Michelle Monaghan, she's the actress. She's the famous one. And then Leslie Bibb, I think her character is Kate. It kind of seems like they were like really close. Like they were the closest when they were younger. And then Carrie Coon was like, she's always been on the outs. Like she's definitely the third wheel of the group. And then maybe when Michelle Monaghan like blew up and became famous, the other two got closer. And maybe now that they're back all together, like the dynamic is weird.
Okay. Totally had a different take. I love that take. my take was that they were all equally close when they were younger, but I do love what you're picking up. I didn't like sense that. They were equally close because when you're younger, they're all very pretty. They're all beautiful. And I think it's very possible that the two who are clearly a bit more like made up got a little more work done to preserve that. But I think it's possible that when they were like, someone said when we were younger, people couldn't tell us apart.
Right. So I think Leslie Bibb said that because she definitely feels insecure, probably, that like they used to look alike and now she's like famous and beautiful. And yeah.
So that's what I mean is like they were all extremely close, but as they got older, their priorities shifted, and Carrie Coon is clearly, I don't know, the serious one, like has a corporate job. She
seems like she's divorced,
or who knows what happened to her husband. And then obviously Michelle Moynihan became famous and is clearly the beautiful one.
Yeah.
And then the third friend has, I think, a insecurity and a sort of jealous, envious relationship with the famous friend. She's clearly a socialite in her own small group, wherever that is. And she made that clear. People ask her for things and she loves helping people. And she clearly has a very wealthy husband and is probably a housewife and is living her dream. But I think I get Social Climber vibes and envy vibes of wanting to be like
Jacqueline.
Yeah,
that was sad when they were all sitting around and then Lori was like, oh, I'm tired. I think I'm gonna like go to bed. And then she just like gets back to her room and like bursts out into tears and sees the other two like still hanging out.
One thing Sammy Sage said, shout out, love her, love you if you're listening. She said,
me too, Sammy.
She said that she thinks this season is going to be darker.
Yes.
Than other seasons. Their seasons past. And even in a storyline that's seemingly lighter, like these three friends, because obviously there are very dark storylines, which we'll get to. This one seems a little bit more surface level, but having Carrie Coon go back to her hotel room and cry like that, that's dark.
Yeah, it was really dark. Like, it was so cutting the way she just like burst into tears, like, threw her wine glass on the bed. And it's like, I think any woman has felt that pain of like being in a group of three and feeling left out, because that is what happens in a group of three. It's an odd number and someone inevitably feels left out at any time. So it's like, it's very relatable. And also it's like, it kind of doesn't go away at any age. No. You could like feel that way.
Totally.
So that, and like, that's like one of the lighter storylines.
Yes, it is. Okay, so let's move on.
Okay, so do we want to talk about the family?
Oh my God, the Ratliffs.
The Ratliffs, okay. So we have Jason Isaacs as the dad, aka Lucius Malfoy, which is so fun. Everyone's like, I didn't recognize him without his like blonde weave. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Like, the dad is Lucius Malfoy. The dad from like all the Harry Potter movies, the long blonde wig. Do you know who Lucius Malfoy is? How do you not know? You've seen Harry Potter, right?
Like, maybe, like, yes.
But you know Malfoy, who's like Harry Potter's like nemesis with the blonde one? Hair?
Yeah.
His dad.
Got it. I was like, that cannot be Malfoy.
No, it's his dad. Okay. But it's just so funny because he always has this like sleek, long, blonde
I mean,
hair.
He's incredible. He's also kind of hot.
Yeah, he is. But it's just so fun. It really just shows like how much like hair could change a person.
Of course.
Because,
you know the girl. You know that.
Yeah, but that's a story for another time.
It's like everyone knows it because we said it 10 times.
I'm really, right, exactly.
Every episode we talk about Rebecca's hair journey.
Yes, it's inevitable. So him and his family are really fucking dysfunctional.
Wow. I love the siblings.
Wait, we have to talk about the mom.
Okay, Parker Posey, obviously.
AKA, what's her name? From Fiona. From our favorite movie of all time, Josie and the Pussycats. What range she has.
She is so funny.
She's so funny.
How has she not been on SNL?
That's a really good point.
I feel like she would be such a good...
Well, so many people have auditioned for SNL, but not made it.
I know, but I feel like she would be so good in like that sketch comedy format because she can put on so many different voices and like all her weird mannerisms.
It's like the Southern drawl, but then also being like pilled out too.
Oh my God.
And jet lag. So I'm like, wow, there's a lot going on here.
Yes.
It's perfect.
One of my favorite lines of hers or like scenes is when they get off the boat and she was just like, Lockie just got into UNC and Duke. So, that's like the whole thing. telling this like random like Thai man
on the beach. They were like, "What are you talking about?" They definitely have no idea. So Patrick Schwarzenegger is like the oldest sibling, and
he's great.
He is definitely like he's like the entitled douchebag, like
but
male privilege.
Take it to another bizarre level. Like the way he like sexualizes his sister
and his brother.
And is just creepy towards all the women on the beach. I mean, it's like male privilege, but like he's like dirty.
Yeah, I mean,
it's weird.
It was there's definitely some kind of predatory grooming behavior because he calls his sister hot, which is like, wait, like the second he said it, it's like everyone's like, that's not normal. There's something really weird there. But then when him and Lockie are sharing a room and he's like asking him what kind of porn he likes, he's like definitely kind of grooming him.
Yeah.
And then he gets up to go to the bathroom. And then did you notice that Lockie was checking him out? Like, I feel like he was kind of looking at him. Weird. Yes. So I'm like, is he also, like, there's definitely, it might not just be the older brother that's like.
Well, I think I kind of just saw that as him looking up to his older brother and kind of seeing like, oh, like, how do you masturbate? Like, what is, like, what.
Okay, right, he was just genuinely like curious.
Right. I saw it more as like, young, he's probably 16.
Well, he got 17. To college. Yeah, so he's like 17 or 18.
Yeah, fair. And I like I wanted him to be younger.
Yeah.
And because it was a little weird. And I think this older, he just graduated from college and he works for his dad and there's this hyper masculine energy in the house that's really like appreciated and valued. So I saw that as like him wanting to emulate his brother as opposed to like
that too. Yeah.
It's weird.
It's weird. And then I was interested because like the older sister and the older brother are like clearly fighting for like the attention, affection, and time of Lockie. And I just like wonder if like the sister is like trying to protect Lockie from like the predatory older brother. So I also get that vibe too.
Right. She like knows that he's a freak. And
so that is so dark. I feel like that is definitely like the darkest storyline we've ever seen on White Lotus.
Yes. Very weird things. And then of course the father.
Yes.
What's going on there?
Yeah, like he's being investigated for fraud, or
he's just been involved. Yes, there's a Wall Street Journal article coming out about a business venture dealing that he had with a man from Thailand. Well, he's American, but he lives in Thailand.
Got it. Okay.
And he's married to the owner of the hotel.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, kind of. I think I forgot about this, but it's like ringing a bell now.
So he had a weird business dealing with the husband of the woman, the owner of the hotel.
Wait, are you still talking about the dad, or are you talking about the other guy? The guy that like has beef with the dad of the family?
It's both. Oh, I am talking about the dad.
Oh, okay.
The call.
Yeah, yes.
And he was like, "Did you know?"
He's like, "You're going to jail." Yeah,
something like that. He's like, "Did you know?" The guy on the phone was like, "Did you know this person?" And it's the same person that the other guy who we didn't get to yet, I forget his name.
The smoking guy
is looking for.
Got it. Okay. See, I missed that. I probably like dozed off at some point.
Or I mean, I hope I'm right.
No, that sounds right. And they're definitely, and he has tension with the smoking guy. Rick is his name.
Yes.
Rick. So Rick has come to the White Lotus with his super young girlfriend, played by Amy Lou Reed, who I love from Sex Education. She's like the best part of that show.
I didn't know her from Sex Education. I just literally think she's like so beautiful.
She's really unique looking.
Yes, and it's funny because I said to Ariel, I'm like, I'm obsessed with her teeth. And later in the show, there was that hot girl who sits next to her and randomly goes, I'm obsessed with your teeth. And I just thought it was funny because I said to Ariel, I'm like, that's so funny that women think like that. Like, clearly Mike White knew that that's something that a certain type of woman would like
comment on.
Right, because she just pulls it off. It's just cool. Like she looks like a sexy London girl. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Their dynamic is really funny.
Oh my God.
Interesting. Like I'm confused if they're like actually a couple or like why she's accompanying him. Like I don't get like lover vibes necessarily.
I don't know. I don't know. I thought they were lovers, but you're right. It's a weird dynamic.
Like the way they talk to each other is not how like a boyfriend and girlfriend talk to each other, but they could also just be because they're weird.
And like kind of abusive. Like she's like he's so used to kind of like shutting her down, and she's so used to being shut down, but she doesn't care because she's like so sunshiny, and she's like, turn that frown upside down, mister. Like that's like kind of her vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Like she likes to look on the bright side of things.
She was like a yogi.
Yes. And then I loved how she went to the bar and she meets that woman who we then see is with Greg.
Insane.
Greg, who killed Tanya at the end of season 2. Or had
Tanya killed. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
It's really crazy. And I just wonder, like, I guess this is like his thing. Like he just like, I don't get how he like is able to land someone like her. Like I kind of get Tanya because Tanya was like older and like.
Well, clearly he has money. Clearly he's very powerful.
Yeah.
I think.
He must be.
I mean, we're going to find out what his actual deal is because we didn't know anything about his deal. Because the first season we thought he was just like, you know, swept Tanya off her feet. He was like this weird old guy. Like it made sense that they were together. They were quirky.
Yeah.
Then in season 2, we realized
he set sinister.
He set her up, was trying to get her money, is involved in some deeper, darker things. Season 3, that's reinforced.
Yes.
He's returned.
He's returned to another White Lotus.
Yes, with Belinda.
That's her name, Belinda?
Yeah, it's funny. Like, because of Wicked, you know, the goat, that's like, Belinda. Ariel and I now, whenever we're like, Belinda.
You mean Professor Gillibrand?
It's not, is it Gillibrand? It's,
Gillibrand?
No, it's something with a G.
I think it's Gillibrand.
It's Diddleman.
Diddleman?
Something.
I don't know.
Diddleman.
My dog looks exactly
Dillamond.
Like Dillamond. Yes.
Literally,
Literally, we call Finley Professor Dillamond because he looks exactly like him.
It's so fun.
Oh my God. And his song is the worst in Wicked. That's a skip every time.
Oh my God. It's
something
so
bad.
Something bad is happening in Oz.
You would like that song.
No, I don't like it. I just like, it's about the Jews.
Oh, okay. Well,
did you know that?
No. Well, now I feel like an animal.
Well, I'm just the animals, how they're like the scapegoat. It's not like about the Jews explicitly, but there's a lot of Holocaust references of
like being othered and scapegoated.
And Stephen Schwartz, who wrote the musical, is Jewish.
Well,
go back
now I have to listen with new ears.
Something bad. Must be catching a cold.
You know what I mean? No, I don't know it. I skip it. I skip it every time because I'm like, the song sucks. Her son is so cute, and I don't know how he realized those were gunshots.
That was so hot.
He's like,
miss, those are gunshots, because she was in the middle of her meditation.
Yes. I know.
No, it was hot. He was just like saving the day, and then he's like in the water, like trying to find his mom. I'm very into Zion. I mean, I'm excited. This season, I'm very excited.
I'm very excited.
Who would not be into this season? I don't even get that.
I'm seeing everywhere that people are like, it wasn't as good as normal White Lotus episodes. I'm like,
don't know what they're talking about. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like, we got to set up the show. Like, give it a second.
Give it a minute. Loved the Thai staff.
Mm-hmm.
I love both of them. I love that dynamic. She's kind of like a little bitchy. I don't want him to be taken advantage of, the security guard.
Yes, I think that he definitely has a soft spot for her.
Definitely. Sure. And she's like into like the bodyguards of like
the hotel. Or the owners of the hotel. Yeah. It seems like he's gonna get himself into some trouble defending her.
So should we take guesses on who's shooting the gun?
Yes. Who do you think?
I think it's one or two people. I think it's likely the security guard, because they lead you to believe that,
right?
Because in some of the previews, oh my God, it's Sunday.
I know it's on tonight. So okay, full disclosure, we're recording this on a Sunday, so we're recapping episode 1. By the time we get this out, episode 2 will be available, so we might be slightly behind, but
that's okay.
It's just episode 1 recap.
In the previews for season 1, there are scenes of the security guard with a gun, so obviously you're sort of led to believe that he's the one doing the shooting,
right?
Which makes sense because he's the security guard, so that makes me think that it wouldn't be him, and I think it might be Rick just because he's the most sinister. Or honestly, speaking out loud, could be Patrick Schwarzenegger.
I was just, now that we're talking about it, now I'm thinking it's Patrick Schwarzenegger. Something we also didn't talk about is how he picked up that fruit and was like, can we eat these? And she was like, no, the seeds are poisonous. So that's definitely going to come back around. Like, someone's getting those seeds. Someone's
and then he said
poisoned.
something like, so you could die? And she like kind of looks like, yep, you could die. It was some like weird interaction where he needed to like
confirmed.
Yeah.
So he's probably, I don't know if he's gonna like try to target his dad because he has like this resentment towards his dad, or who knows. But those seeds will come back. Also, I just thought it was like definitely very telling that they said the seeds are poisonous, like the children, like the seeds.
Wow.
Yeah. So many good theories swirling, and it'll be fun to recap every week.
So fun.
This was so much fun. Thank you guys so much for listening to Middle Part. If you like Middle Part, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
And now YouTube.
Please like, review, and subscribe on YouTube. You can listen on Spotify.
I just think we need to end every single episode literally
holding hands. It's beautiful. You can listen to us in an audio format on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
And we'll be back next week with another episode.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.